Hello and welcome to the program Tsula's Big Adventures with me, Tsula. Recently I had a chance to visit Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. Victoria Falls is a town, but it's also a massive waterfall that some people consider one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And it's on the mighty Zambezi River, half of it in Zimbabwe and the other half in Zambia. I visited the Zimbabwe side, which can be easily accessed via the Victoria Falls Airport in Zimbabwe, and then took a short van ride of about 45 minutes on a paved road to our lodging. There is ample lodging available in the town of Victoria Falls, even 5-star lodging. We stayed at a very nice lodge within walking distance of the falls called Batonka Lodge. We had been in Cape Town, South Africa before that, and so we flew from Cape Town International Airport to Nels Pruitt Kruger Airport, also in South Africa, and from Kruger Airport, a short 45-minute plane ride to Victoria Falls. And during this plane ride from Kruger Airport to Victoria Falls, you fly over miles and miles of agricultural land and then nothingness, and you start to wonder how a river could possibly be in the vicinity. And you also realize where all the food and wine comes from at all the lodges at probably Victoria Falls and in the safari lodges where all the food is brought in from outside. On the plane ride, you do fly over the falls, but it just appears like mist. And by the way, when you land at Victoria Falls Airport, be prepared to pay $30 US cash only in order to get your visa and be allowed into the country of Zimbabwe. Most people there speak English, and they're incredibly nice people. The Zambezi River is the 4th longest river in Africa. The river flows 1,600 miles from its headwaters in extreme northwest Zambia at 5,000 feet above sea level, and then it flows through Angola, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and into Mozambique, where it flows into the Indian Ocean. Along the Zambezi River, you'll find the massive Victoria Falls. Victoria Falls is considered by many to be the largest waterfall in the world when combining the width of the waterfall of 5,600 feet or 1,700 meters with its height of 354 feet or 108 meters. Whether the largest or not, one thing is for certain, and that is it's incredibly impressive waterfall with a massive sheet of water flowing over it. This area of Africa has a rainy season and a dry season, with the dry season lasting from May to October and a rainy season from November to April. During the late dry season, the waterfall's flow is significantly less than during the rainy season. During heavy flows, as when I visited in early June, the spray can reach 1,300 feet or 400 meters. And if you go during this time, you will definitely get wet. The falls were known to African people for eons, but it wasn't until David Livingstone went to Africa and saw the falls in 1855 that it became known to Europeans. Livingstone, who's buried at Westminster Abbey in London, is who named the falls Victoria after Queen Victoria. And it's remained named that ever since. But in the local language, it's known as Mosi Oatunya. Victoria Falls is a World Heritage Site, and there's a national park on the Zambian side and on the Zimbabwe side. After arriving at our lodge at Batonga, we unpacked our things and then we went to the front desk to ask for walking directions to the falls. The hotel manager vigorously tried to dissuade us from walking because he claimed that we would be attacked by wild animals along the way. There is a national park next to the falls that does contain wild animals, but given the road and the traffic and cars and the town and all the people walking on the road, it seemed highly unlikely. And in retrospect, I think what he meant was that we might be accosted and swarmed by street vendors, which we were. It seemed safe enough to me though, but I did keep my camera safely tucked away in my backpack. I wasn't crazy enough to pull it out on the walk. During our walk of about 2 kilometers, I think, we were accosted by a man named Mandela who asked Pepper to marry him and also tried to sell us a filthy bowl he had. He walked us all the way to the falls, and we were going to give him some money because he said he was unemployed, but he disappeared. It cost $50 per person to enter the waterfalls, and the internet is so bad there that they're unable to process a credit card, so we had to pay cash. Once inside the park, we put on our full-length raincoats, and we still got soaked, especially your shoes. There's a paved path all along the falls, starting at a huge statue of David Livingstone, and along the path are little pull-outs for viewing the waterfall. Some you can't see the waterfall very well and you just get soaked when the water level is as high as it was. But when the falls are gushing like that, it creates beautiful rainbows. We stopped at each of the pullouts, waiting for our turn to take photos, and we went all the way to a bridge that crosses the Zambezi River that was built in 1905, and then back again to the beginning. The park closes at 5 p.m., so it was time to leave. There were a few warthogs at the entrance and a lot of birds in the trees. Since it was winter time in the southern hemisphere in June, and also since we were only at 17 degrees latitude, it got dark around 6 p.m. So we had to call a taxi to get back to the lodge, and we didn't see Mandela again that day. The lodge has an excellent restaurant and an extremely friendly and helpful staff, and we ate at the restaurant, and then that evening I went out to the pool and I looked at the southern skies with my 15 by 70 binoculars. Okay, after some very bad weather in South Africa where it was raining and cloudy and cold, I finally have a clear evening here in Zimbabwe. Beautiful evening. So I got a nice look at the jewel box NGC 4755 and that carbon star DY Cruxus, beautiful red star, and the Carina Nebula, beautiful, beautiful. The Magellanic clouds are too low on the horizon, but what a beautiful evening here in Zimbabwe. Beautiful. Wow. Very, very neat. Victoria Falls is somewhat light polluted, but I could see the Southern Cross, or the constellation Crux, the beautiful jewel box star cluster, Alpha Centauri, the closest star to Earth, and the beautiful Carina Nebula, before heading back into the room to sleep under our mosquito net. The next morning, we relaxed on our deck, enjoying the many birds in the trees at the lodge. And after breakfast, we headed back to Victoria Falls for a second day. We again walked, and we again ran into Mandela, who now had 3 bowls. And this time, I bought all 3 bowls, and I gave him $10, and he seemed very happy, and we never saw him again. This time at the falls, it was earlier in the day, and there weren't any rainbows this time. And it wasn't quite as misty, so we only went to the best pullouts and got some better photos. And then we started walking back to the lodge. That evening, we took a river cruise on the Zambezi River, where we saw a huge crocodile, some elephants, giraffe, and some hippos, and a gorgeous sunset on the Zambezi, while they served us multiple plates of canapes and all the alcohol we wanted, which I've concluded was water, because I never felt anything. The cruise was very nice, but we were too full for dinner, so we just ordered a bottle of some South African rosé, which was delicious, and drank that, and then I looked some more at the stars with my 15 by 70 binoculars at the pool. And then went to bed, and the next day we had to leave Victoria Falls, but while waiting for the driver to pick us up, we again looked at the many birds on the grounds of the lodge. But one thing about Victoria Falls is there's a constant drone of helicopters from the moment you wake up that I found bothersome. And we didn't take a helicopter ride. I didn't want to. I enjoyed walking and seeing the falls from the ground level. $50 seems like a lot, but it's a poor country and the falls are incredibly beautiful and awe-inspiring. I highly recommend the Batonka Lodge and Victoria Falls. That's it for now. I'll see y'all soon. Dark skies forever. Tsula signing off.